The world is rapidly changing all around us, and we have just a few short days, 9 short days until this groundswell election happens, and it's going to change everything. Not only are things inside the United States changing, but around the world we have major events happening as well. We have an assassination attempt on a former president down in Bolivia. We have also a previous president down in Brazil who's been banned from running for any kind of office. We have around the world, we have the European Union on the march. Not only in support of Kamala Harris inside the United States, but then also pushing agendas over there. We got a lot to talk about, but we're going to be talking about how do we kind of shape our way through a lot of this? How do we move forward, but then also be aware of kind of what's going on around us? Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and we cover the things on this channel that the mainstream media is not talking about at all. I don't think you probably heard about this assassination attempt on President Morales, previous president of Bolivia. This is, I mean, if you know the country Bolivia, you know the name Morales. This guy is huge in the political sphere. Two vehicles intercepted his motorcade, and his windows were riddled with bullets. His driver was wounded, and as they say, a bullet went centimeters by past his head. Sounding awfully familiar, doesn't it? We've talked recently about what's going on a little bit in Brazil, but the consequences of the political prosecution of the former president, and basically how they've used their Supreme Court and their court system against him as a weapon. Again, sounds awfully familiar. The things that are happening around the world are in a microcosm happening inside the United States. The decay of systems and bureaucracies is happening inside the United States. The push to move to this globalistic one world government is happening inside the United States. We see this, the move across the world towards central bank digital currencies. We see that happening inside the United States in some nefarious ways. Some of the things that are being rolled out by the banks. I bank with PNC Bank, and I just got an email just the other day that they're rolling out a new payment program, a new way of paying and transferring money. And I recognized it because I've been kind of watching this get rolled out. And it is actually the Fed, it's built upon the FedNow system. It is the Federal Reserve's central bank digital currency. And they're trying to get me to sign up for this thing voluntarily. If you have a new payment system that your bank is rolling out, read the fine print. What is it? Why is this different than Zelle or some other payment system that they've already had? Why are they rolling out a new payment system? Well, in a lot of these cases, what you're going to find as you read into it, that they're suddenly rolling out this payment system because it is a central bank digital currency. And this is that centralized control so that they can centralize track all of your spending. They want to get rid of paper currency. They want to get rid of anything that they can't track. They believe that if they track everybody's spending, that they're going to increase tax revenues dramatically. And when you start seeing these programs out there, that's how they're kind of selling it partially, is that this is going to bring in so much more tax revenue because we're going to be bringing all that black market freedom transactions happening out there. We're going to bring that onto a taxable trackable system. So we have the Brazilian president being banned from office. We have the central bank digital currencies rolling out. I mean, it looks like, unlike what's happening in a lot of the world, it looks like former President Donald Trump here in the United States is going to actually beat the deep state. That's what it's looking like right now. Looking like. Hate to be cynical, but hey, I'm a realist, right? And we need to be concerned that this is not a shoo-in. This is not something that he has in the bag. And even if he gets into office, it's going to be fighting tooth and nail every single day. Have you heard about the Beyonce gate? Beyonce, a famous singer. I think most people have at least heard of her. But Kamala Harris was in a jam. Right, Donald Trump was going on the Joe Rogan Experience for 3 hours. He was scheduled to have the yesterday's Madison Square Garden. I always want to say Market Garden, but that's a World War II operation, not a stadium. So the Madison Square Garden, massive rally. The left being all freaked out by that. So Kamala Harris had to do something to grab the headlines, something to do big. And so basically in cooperation with the media, they started going out there saying basically that they were going to have a Beyonce concert that Kamala Harris was going to attend. Well, that's not exactly what happened. When they got there, it was a Kamala Harris rally. And Beyonce got up and spoke for 4 minutes, but hardly anyone could even hear her. And she certainly did not sing. She didn't sing, she didn't hum, and 30,000 people started to get a little mad because they were baited and switched. They were brought in under the presumption, under the promise that it was going to be a Beyonce concert that she was going to perform. And then all they got was Kamala Harris kind of screeching. And so some of the clips coming out of that are, they're pretty sweet. People, large portions of the crowd booing Special K. Not only that, but people heckling. Large numbers of people leaving for the exits once they realize there's no concert going to happen, that this is all just one big scam, right? And this is not just these 30,000 people that showed up. People are mad. People are mad that they were promised stuff. Other people were promised things, and Special K is getting the reputation of someone who cannot deliver on her promises. And mark my words, if you promise people free money raining down from heaven, but you can't deliver, that is a problem. Donald Trump is talking about reform and talking about stopping the border and deportations and all these things. He's not talking about giving everyone free money, okay? If your whole program is encapsulated by you get free stuff, it's the Oprah Winfrey political strategy. There's one big Achilles heel to it. You can promise all that you want, but if you can't deliver the goods, and that's one of the things that President Biden has not been able to do. He has not been able to successfully and consistently deliver the goods. He's promised the world, but that hasn't happened. So not only the 30,000 people there upset, but we need to talk about what's going on over in California. I don't know if you guys have heard this. This has been kind of swept under the rug. It's another one of those slow-moving things that people don't really talk about so much. 14% of California's gasoline California is a pretty big state. The state of California, 14% of its gasoline comes from 2 refineries. And both of these refineries are actually looking at shutting down. Now, I've talked a lot about how the United States gasoline, basically the production capacity of the refineries in the United States is low. And that's due to all these greenie weenies pushing all these regulations so hard that it basically is impossible to build a refinery inside the United States. And so the only thing that's happening with refineries is people are taking old refineries and turning them into biodiesel refineries, taking them from refining petroleum products to refining corn into ethanol and biodiesels, right? Creating these biofuels is possible under the regulations. But if you want to refine oil into gasoline or diesel or jet fuel, you ain't building that. They're not going to let you build it. And so we have these old legacy refineries that can't shut down. If they shut down, we're going to lose a lot of capacity to produce gasoline and diesel jet fuel in the US. Well, that's exactly what's happening in California. Not only are they're not just content stopping any new production of refineries, but they are attacking aggressively any productive members of society in California. And one of those, some of those productive members of society are these 2 refineries that produce 14% of California's gasoline. They're going to shut them down. And the refineries have basically said, we can't do business anymore. We're just about done. We're going to shut down. And everyone in the state of California is like, got their golf clap going on. They are excited that this is happening. They are winning this environmental battle, apparently. So gasoline is going to have to be produced in other countries and going to have to be imported into. So basically what's probably going to happen is it's going to be refined down in Mexico, which is, you know how safe and efficient and wonderful the refineries down in Mexico are. And then that gasoline is going to be shipped north. Hopefully it's high quality gasoline. Hopefully the gasoline isn't riddled with impurities, riddled with toxic chemicals. But people in California are going to have to buy it anyway. So if you've seen the prices of gasoline in California, just wait until you see where they go from here. The world is changing. And like I'm saying, this is like a microcosm. We see the environmental war out there, and then we see it going absolutely crazy inside California. We see the political globalists versus isolationists. And I don't think that isolationism means that you can't be involved in the world. It just means, is it isolationist to say that we should stop invading other countries? I think that we should be able to say, stop invading countries. We should be able to say that the United States shouldn't have military bases in every single country in the world. That makes sense. I mean, we have a military base in Cuba. Yes, we're basically a hostile nation to Cuba, and Cuba is on our sanctions list, and yet somehow we have a military base there. We have military bases in Iraq. We have military bases in some crazy places. Why? Because we're basically trying to occupy the whole planet. We're basically doing what the British did before their whole empire collapsed. The world is clearly changing. 9 days till the election inside the United States, and that is definitely going to change perceptions and change the way things are happening out there in the world as well. Hopefully you've gotten out and voted, or you got good, strong plans to vote. I've got some walking to do before I get to where I can get back to the U.S. and vote, but I certainly will be doing that myself. How do we handle all this? How do we handle all this new stuff coming at us? Well, you just need to focus in on what's in front of you. And there's so much happening out there, but we need to keep dialing it in to what can we do? What is before us? What communities can we build? What skills can we acquire? What materials can we stockpile? And encourage other people in these things as well to build those relationships in an intentional way that will reap results and benefits for everyone involved. Whether that's a local farmer that raises cattle so that you can buy beef directly from them and you know where the beef has been, that's a good win for you, and it's a win for them. Because if you have that relationship, you can come to them later and say, hey, how about instead of paying you in dollars, I pay you in something else? How about I pay you in the crops that I grow in my garden? What about the herbs and spices that you have in your garden? Perhaps the skills that you have as a carpenter or a handyman or whatever you do that you can offer skill-wise to them. Perhaps that will work. The more relationships that we build, the networks that we build, don't just benefit us, and doesn't even just benefit us and the person that we're interacting with, but it builds a network so that when you start talking to somebody and they say, man, I wish there was a place that I could get good, clean beef, and you can say, hey, I know a person, let me connect you to that person. It allows other people to connect into that network, and so it benefits the people that you're going to connect in the future. It benefits the person that you're connecting with, that you're going to connect that vendor to other people who are like-minded. Friends, we need to stop looking at Washington, D.C. as the solution to all of our problems. I hope that Donald Trump lowers taxes. I hope he does. I hope he at least keeps the tax cuts in place that he put in last time. But what happens in Washington, D.C. is not going to make or break me. Now, if Special K gets in there, it might break me. I don't know. But they might do some really, really crazy stuff. But what I'm saying is that deliverance is not coming from politics, from a politician. Even if they're a non-politician, right? We're sending some good people to Washington, D.C., it seems like, but they're going to do battle with the swamp. Our lives are going to be changed dramatically by what we choose to do in our lives as we seek to increase our income, increase our stockpiles, increase our savings. All these things are things that we can do regardless of what the government is doing. Sure, the government could make our lives a little bit easier in these things, but we can't wait for them. We need to take care of ourselves, our families, and our neighborhoods. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.